We have installed Starlink on our rooftop back in October 2021, and back then I've promised you that we'll do another follow-up on how the winter was, how the speed changed over time, and a few more of your questions. So how was the winter? I was expecting that especially during snowy weather and generally during bad weather conditions, Starlink would probably be affected and deliver slower internet speeds. To my surprise, weather seems not to affect Starlink in a reasonable way, so no matter how rainy, foggy, or how much it was snowing, we still had stable internet and speed between 150 and 200 megabits per second. I was also curious if snow would settle on the dish, but as advertised, the dish seems to have a built-in heating functionality and it was always free of snow. Let's have a look at the speed tests over the last 6 months. I have measured Starlink's internet speed using the speed test function of the Starlink app, which will show you 3 different speeds. The first measurement is showing you how fast your phone connects to the internet. But that also means if your wireless connection to the router is not the best, this will always be lower than Starlink's actual internet speed. The second test, the most interesting one, shows the internet speed from the Starlink router to the internet through the Starlink network. That's what we're looking at. And the third test shows your phone's Wi-Fi speed to the Starlink router. Here's the result table and the speed graph. I've done a lot of tests in the first few weeks, multiple times per week, and in the last couple of months I did probably 3 to 4 tests per month to see if the speed would change over time. Looking at the graph, you see the speed always seems to be between the same boundaries, so there's no huge outliers. The blue graph is the download speed and the orange one is the upload speed. There seems also not to be an upward or downward trend, so everything seems to stay pretty stable. The lowest download speed in the measured period was 133 megabits and highest was 252 megabits per second. For the upload, minimum was 11 megabit per second and the highest was 46 megabit per second. On average, the download speed was 181 megabit per second and the average upload resulted in 22 megabit per second. Now let's get to some of your questions. How long did you have to wait for Starlink to arrive? We ordered back in March 2021 and it got delivered around 6 months later. If you order today, it seems to take longer because of the current shortage of electronic parts. Did any dirt settle on the dishy? So far, the surface of the dish seems to be quite clean. We will have to see long term if that changes and if we eventually have to clean it. How many connection issues and outages did you have? I monitored this during the day as I'm doing a lot of phone calls and video conferences during my work days, and I can say that there is 2 to 3 very short connection drops between 1 and 5 seconds every single day, but that was barely noticeable and didn't affect my work in any major way. There was one bigger outage about 30 minutes during this whole 6 month period, but as you know, we have a fallback DSL connection to failover, so it didn't affect me. Would you buy Starlink again in 2022? Well, some people wrote me that they consider Starlink to be quite expensive, and that might be true if you're living in a big city where fast internet is cheap and always available. Here where we live, the fastest connection we can get as a landline is 50 megabit per second and it costs about 50 euro per month. So even if I would order 2 lines to double the speed, I would pay as much as I pay for Starlink, but still I would get less speed than with Starlink. So for us, it's currently the best option for fast internet, although it's not exactly cheap. I would definitely order it again. The only downside is that the initial hardware is quite expensive with about 500 euros of initial invest. If you have any further questions, please let me know in the comment section. We'll do another update in about 6 months. I hope this video was helpful. Please hit the like button if so, and probably consider watching some of the other videos from my channel that should pop up here and here. And I see you in the next one. Bye.